Well, you know, Nick Saban has always had a very interesting relationship with the media. Coach knows how to get his point across, and sometimes that can lead to some tense, but more often than not, humorous moments. Here's the best of Coach Saban from the season to date.
I don't know where you guys get all your information. Every time somebody posts something on a message board, I'm gonna start messing with you. I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna start doing it. And every day I'm gonna post something that's just total BS. I don't get this. I don't understand the questions. I don't understand the philosophy you all have. Y'all can go crazy out there on misinformation and bad information. And have no professionalism to try to find out if it did or didn't happen. Just create some you-know-what. My sense of it is the more you ask, the worse your chances are going to get. That we can only have 5 guys that play on the offensive line, and if anybody else plays, it's a catastrophe. The sky is falling. The 747 went down. I don't get that. I'm not going to pull a Steve Spurrier on you, but best thing to do is let the sleeping dog lie. You know, you all create so many problems. I mean, I hate to start on this, but whether guys are going out for the draft that shouldn't even be thinking about that right now, whether we're worrying about the Heisman Trophy, now we're worrying about playing Missouri rather than Tennessee sometime down the road. All right, now let me just start this out so that nothing bad happens here today and I don't have to get on national TV doing bad things. I mean, come on, let's talk about the game. Now, I was in here on Monday, and I was on a conference call today, and I have yet to be asked a question about the game. What year are we talking about when we're not going to play Tennessee? Not one. 2025? Not one question about the game. I'm just hoping that I can still go to the lake then. Still can walk around and go on a pontoon boat ride. You know, we could have 3 shutouts, and we would still be getting, we don't have enough sacks. I mean, it's just something to write about. You know, I mean, give up 6 points a game for 3 games and at all for kind of problem. And just like my wife, why did you run that play? Why didn't you run another play? Well, it's what she says, because it didn't work. Well, how about if we'd have just run that play right? So then she don't have anything to say about that. You all make such a big deal out of all this stuff. You got a good question, I hope?
I always got great timing with my questions here.
Yeah, well, if it's not a good one, just pass it on. But I guess it creates news and does something. Doesn't do anything for me. You can tell, right?
Well, it does a lot for us. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Enjoyed that.
But he does have happy moments.
Oh,
really.
I think a lot of some of those things he even says when he looks like he's mad. I don't think he's necessarily mad. Like I said, I think he's got a purpose behind everything he says, and I enjoy listening to his press conferences. I can tell you that. I also enjoy listening to our callers who have questions for us on Titv. Let's go right to the phones now and talk with a good friend, BT. BT, what's up?
What's up, Gary? How are you doing, Rodney and Gary?
Doing great, BT.
I shared a while ago, Gary, but we shouldn't look past the games right here. We should stay focused and play hard.
Well, BT, I think that's the plan every week. I agree with you. I mean, you don't get to 8-0 if you're looking ahead to LSU in any of those games. Well, I think that's why both these teams have gotten to where they're at if they handle their business each week.
Well, and you mentioned that, Gary, and I was just going to say that's one of the things that Nick Saban has been so good at, so strong, is keeping his team focused on the task at hand. And that's why you've seen Alabama in a lot of games that have been preceded a big game, that they've, not blown a game in a situation where they were looking ahead. So they've been very successful.
And real quickly, Rodney, before we go to LD and Center, I want to just say something about the schedules. I think LSU's a great football team. The win over Oregon's a quality win. But after that, I don't know if their schedule's been any better than Alabama's. The win over West Virginia is a decent win, but they're not world beaters. And win over Mississippi State that they got so much credit for early. Mississippi State's a struggling football team. I think Alabama's win at Penn State is every bit as good, if not better, than the win over West Virginia. And I think the win over Arkansas, that's a one-loss team. I think Arkansas could possibly beat Oregon on a neutral field.
Well, let me tell you, as we move along the season, I think Arkansas is going to be a serious threat to LSU.
Yeah, so I don't think this stuff about LSU having such a much more difficult schedule than Alabama is necessarily true. Let's go to Center and talk with our good friend LD. LD, what's going on, man?
Hello, how y'all doing?
Hey,
tonight?
doing well.
Oh, I was wondering if they might go to a dime package to cover the receivers and or would they try to rush the quarterback more?
Well, it's going to be a combination of things, LD, and that's the way it is for every game Alabama plays. But certainly with some of the guys like Ruben Randall that LSU has in situations where it's third and long or second long, you're going to see the 6 defensive backs in the game at some time. I wouldn't be shocked if they started out the game with 5 defensive backs.
It all depends on the situation.
Yeah, but you'll see a combination of things defensively. Real quickly, let's go to Bessemer and talk with John.
Gary, what's going on, man?
Hey, John.
Hey, listen, man, I want to tell you, Alabama done a good job. Another thing, I want to look, can Alabama stop their run?
Well, they need to slow it down. They need to slow it down, John. And as good as Alabama's been under Nick Saban against the run, LSU has had success running the football against Alabama, more probably than any other team.
Yep, they had over 200 last year. They had over 200, I think, in the 09 game that they lost. So they have been successful running the ball. There's no question, John, that is going to be a big, big key in this game. But on vice versa as well.
Yeah, Bama's got the best rush defense in the country, so we'll see on Saturday. Hey, we'll be back after this with more phone calls. Stay with us. Welcome back to Titv alongside Rodney Orr. I'm Gary Harris. More of your phone calls in just a moment. But first, as you know, Monday was Halloween, but it was also Nick Saban's birthday. And it was a big one. Coach turned 60.
The players had a little birthday party, and they all signed this jersey number 60 with my name on the back. I held that thing up and I said, Saban and 60. That first of all, I wasn't thinking about age. I was thinking about, I'm a skill player. There's no way I can sport this 60, man. I got to have a lower than 50 number of some sort. So that's how I feel, and that's how I think.
It doesn't look 60.
Well,
and you know, was a pretty good
Told you he had happy moments.
back in the day. Yeah.
I told you he had. Hey, I want to correct something I said earlier, Gary. You know, I said last year LSU ran for over 200, which they did. And I said in 09, but it actually was 08, yeah. The 08 game down in Baton Rouge when Alabama won in overtime. So I wanted to correct that.
Yeah, 09, Tide did a pretty good job against them against the run, but they have had success against Alabama running the ball. Let's go to Brent and talk with Rick. Rick, welcome into the program.
Fine. How are y'all tonight?
Hey, doing well, Rick.
Great. Alabama played in LSU in consecutive years in the 90s. If that hadn't happened, would we be playing this huge game in Baton Rouge?
Well, probably, depending on, I mean, I have to go back and see how the schedule was set up. But, yeah, there were some years you played teams back-to-back in the same stadium because of when they went to divisions. So, yeah, if it had just stayed on a rotating basis, this game this year probably would have been scheduled to be in Baton Rouge.
Yep, 91 and 92, Alabama played back-to-back in Baton Rouge. Alabama won both those games.
Yeah, but it's here now. That's all that matters. Rick, I can tell you that. Okay, we got to take a timeout. When we come back, it's prediction time. Will Alabama defend its home turf? Another thing about the road team. Road team's had a lot of success in this series, but Alabama looking to come up big on its own soil, or will LSU spoil the Tide season? Our picks are next. Still several more days to discuss this game before it's actually here, but for us tonight on Tider Insider TV, the time for talking is just about over. It's time to make a prediction, Rodney.
Well, you know, Gary, when I look at this game, you look at any big game, so many different things can impact a game like this. Turnovers, coaching decisions, drop passes, penalties certainly, but you know, a lot of times big games come down to the quarterbacks, come down to quarterback play. You look at LSU, and I look at them, and they have Jarrett Lee and Jordan Jefferson, two guys that are, although they've struggled at times during their career, they've matured, and they've had good season, especially Jarrett Lee, 13 touchdowns this season, only 1 interception. And, you know, that leadership and the experience that he's had through the years. And then you look at Alabama with a young sophomore, A.J. McCarron, who has matured very quickly. You know, and sometimes you wonder, will that be the difference in the game? Will one of the quarterbacks, you know, make a crucial mistake? You know, so that this game could come down to something like that. But I think A.J. McCarron has matured greatly. I think Jim McElwain and Nick Saban do a great job of managing their quarterback in this game. I look for A.J. McCarron to have a really good game. I think Alabama wins it 24-17.
Well, Rodney, there can be some things that happen in a football game that sway it in one direction rather than the other. If one team has turnovers and the other one doesn't, the team that has turnovers is going to lose. I mean, these are two great football teams. I think LSU is terrific. But this is Alabama's home turf. Nick Saban, I think, is fired up for this game as any game since he's been at Alabama. I just think Alabama will find a way to win the game. I think, believe it or not, in this matchup, the Tide is a little underrated. I'll take Alabama by 10, 23-13. I think that Alabama defense is going to show that it's the best in the country on Saturday night against the Bayou Bengals. Hey, it's dinner time. Buddy's Rib and Steak in Northport. Come join us over there, and we'll talk some Bama LSU at about 7:15, and you can catch the show on our website, www.tv.com. Good night, everybody.